What's up, everybody? I am Chris Distefano, aka Christories Distefano, and this is Christories. Today we are going to be talking about my favorite and only Catholic president. His cute blue eyes molest me, and maybe his wandering eye unfortunately got him knocked down in the Lone Star State of Texas. We are talking John F. Kennedy, JFK's assassination. Chrissy Conspiracies is back. Okay, so real quick, let me tell you who JFK is in case you don't know. Stands for John Fitzgerald Kennedy. JFK was born on May 29th, a Gemini, from Brookline, Massachusetts. Go Sox, you cocksucker. He came to be the youngest man ever and still ever elected to office at only age 44. He was also the first and only Catholic president. Butt stuff. He was married to a babe named Jackie, who the public loved and adored. And people say my mother looks like Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. So look at that. We'll throw up a pic of my mom and put a side-by-side on Jackie and can tell who's who. So JFK served as the 35th president of the U.S. from January 20th, 1961 until his assassination on November 22nd, 1963. So that's the thing. He was only president for, barely 2 years, or almost 3 years. He was almost 3 years. So like a lot of people think that he was president for longer. This is his second term, but he wasn't. So the major moments from his presidency, let's just do a quick recap. Bay of Pigs invasion, Bay of Joe DeRosa invasion, a failed attempt to overthrow Fidel Castro's Cuban government on April 17th. Jasmine's birthday, 1961. We chose to go to the moon. Kennedy announced the goal of landing a man on the moon before the end of the decade on May 25th, 1961. The Berlin Wall, the construction of that began. The Cold War was going on back then, still going on today. The wall was built to stop people who were fleeing communist Germany, communist East Germany, to go to to go to free capitalist West Germany. The Cuban Missile Crisis, which was a standoff between the U.S. and Soviet Union over the nuclear missiles that Russia had put in Cuba. That was in October of 1962. His civil rights address on June 11th, 1963, and then him visiting West Berlin. He delivers his famous Ich bin in Berlin speech on June 26, 1963, basically challenging Soviet oppression. So let's take you to Texas. JFK had been in office at this point for 2 years and 10 months, and he had plans to run for a second term. Now, Texas, it's vital. Was vital then, it's vital now for the re-election. So he set out with wifey babe, Jackie, aka she looks like my mom, on November 21st on Air Force One for a 2-day tour of Texas with plans to see Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, and Houston. Sounds like a Christie comedy tour. Now, Texas didn't really care for his civil rights policies. Obviously, they were a little racist. So JFK was there to kind of connect with the people and announce his second run. He was like, vote for me again. I'm good. JFK stayed at the Fort Worth Hotel, and he made a speech inside and outside the hotel. These are his final words in his speech given inside the hotel. He said, "This is a very dangerous and uncertain world. We would like to live as we once lived, but history will not permit it. No man who has served in this office could fail to be deeply conscious of the responsibility resting upon him." So that's interesting because, sometimes like we live in present day and you're like, I wish the world would go back to the way it was. This is in the 1960s. He's saying he wishes the world could go back to the way it was. So we're always wishing for things. We're always wishing for the good old days. But remember, folks, you're living the good old days right now. Do not let the present moment pass you by. JFK leaves Fort Worth and he goes to Dallas by Air Force One. He landed at Love Field Airport at 11:37 a.m. Central Standard Time. I don't know what time that is on the East Coast or the West Coast. And he was accompanied by Babe, a.k.a. mom lookalike, First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy, and Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson. You'll hear more about him later. Conspiracy? Maybe. So he's scheduled to participate in a motorcade through downtown Dallas en route to the Trade Mart, where President Kennedy was going to deliver a lunch speech. But of course, as we know, that didn't happen. But this was the plan. Okay, I'm just taking you to the plan. So on his very last drive, the Texas governor and his wife were in the middle. Secret Service were driving the car. JFK and Jackie were in the back of the limo. You all know this kind of, you've all seen the videos, I'm sure, in the pictures. They were meant to drive about 10 miles where 200,000 people lined the road to the next stop. So JFK had a lot of fans. At one point, Nellie Connolly, the First Lady of Texas, said, "Mr. President, you can't say Dallas doesn't love you," to which JFK responded, "No, I certainly can't." Those were his very last words, because at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, the motorcade started to go through Dealey Plaza. You know what's about to happen. Approaching the school book depository where gunshots were heard. A bullet first went through President Kennedy's neck. Then another one came and hit Governor Connolly's shoulder and wrist. And then a second bullet, the fatal bullet, I think most likely, hit JFK in the head. Pieces of his skull and brain scattered all over the back of the car. Blood even hit the car behind them. It was so intense and such a powerful shot. So he gets rushed to Parkland Memorial Hospital. Doctors couldn't help the president. And at 1 p.m., JFK was declared dead. His body was brought back to Air Force One. Soon after, Lyndon B. Johnson had been sheltered on the plane in fears of another assassination, but we don't know because we think Lyndon B. Johnson could be in on it. Stay tuned for more. So at 2:38 p.m., 36th president was sworn in as Lyndon B. Johnson. Jacqueline Kennedy chose not to change her clothes until she returned to D.C., stating that she wanted people to see what she had gone through. Okay? She had blood everywhere. She was in shock, I'm sure. It must have been crazy. So who killed the president, right? That's the question that remains today. Back then there was no conspiracy about it, but now we all know there's theories out there, baby. So witnesses say they heard and saw shots from different directions, but several accounts said that the 6th floor, the southeast corner window of the Texas School Depository building, 2 employees were missing. One being a man named Lee Harvey Oswald. He just started working there for about a month. Witnesses reported seeing a man matching Oswald's description on the 6th floor of the building around the time of the shooting. So there's some controversies first about the gun, right? First, a Mann-Lyncher Carcano rifle was found, and that was believed to be found at the 6th floor window. But later, it was confirmed that the rifle was in fact an Italian Carcano M9138 bolt action rifle, something that had been purchased by Oswald early that year. Now, that's significant because this rifle is known to be a very inaccurate weapon. And even though Oswald was in the military, it is hard to believe that somebody especially him, shot JFK twice from 250 feet away with this inaccurate Italian rifle. The thing is, it's quirky, right? Because after JFK's shooting, Oswald leaves the Texas School Book Depository, and then he gets encountered by a Dallas police officer, J.D. Tippett, who was patrolling looking for suspects. Everybody's looking for this guy. Oswald actually shot and killed the police officer, and then he just goes to a movie. He just went to a movie theater and saw a movie. Then he finally gets stopped and he gets arrested by another police officer, but it's like this guy is just a lunatic. He just shoots and kills a cop and then goes and sees a movie. So they just found it suspicious that he had bought these guns under a different name because Texas doesn't have laws over purchases of weapons. So what are you so worried that the government is following you for? It just doesn't make sense, And I mean, shot and killed a police officer, that's crazy. And then, hey, if you would have did it in New York and present day, you would have got out the next day. So Sunday, November 24th, Oswald gets transferred from a city jail to a county jail. Millions turned in to see the live shot of him being transferred from jail to jail because everyone thinks this is the guy that killed JFK. And then out of nowhere, on live TV, a man approaches Oswald and shoots a pistol point blank at him, which ultimately killed him. I mean, this is nuts. These people in America, think about it, twice in a week, they're seeing people get killed on live TV. And that man who killed Oswald was Jack Ruby, who was a local nightclub owner who claimed that he killed Lee to spare Mrs. Kennedy the discomfort of coming back to trial, especially since Mrs. Kennedy still had not changed her outfit. Funeral got held for JFK, and an investigation was set to conclude how the assassination happened. It was called the Warren Commission. Now, the Warren Commission, they had said that Lee Harvey Oswald had become the skilled marksman as Marine, and he's the one who shot and killed JFK. But we know it would have been really hard to shoot him with that Italian rifle that's very inaccurate. But the Warren Commission, it's extremely controversial because the angles of the bullets don't add up, and more. This is Christories, and we are here to question the Warren Commission, okay? And you know how we are here on Christories, okay? We stand by our opinions. Whether they're right or wrong, we stand by them. So let us present to you some of the theories of JFK's assassination. Oswald worked for the mob. This is one that's been going around. It had been suggested that Jack Ruby, the man who killed Lee Harvey Oswald, had ties to organized crime and may have been ordered to silence Oswald to prevent him from revealing any connections or information that could implicate criminal organizations in Kennedy's assassination. That's right. The Mafia may have been connected because it is known that JFK was kind of a womanizer and had a lot of, women that he would hook up with. And some people think maybe he hooked up with a Mafia guy's girl, and you got to die for that. Second shooter. You've heard this. Could there have been a second shooter? Some theorists propose that there was a second shooter involved in the assassination in addition to Oswald. Now, proponents of this theory point to discrepancies in witness testimony, ballistics evidence, and the trajectory of the bullets suggest that shots came from multiple locations in Dealey Plaza. Did it or did it not? I don't know. The Mafia involvement, as we alluded to earlier, either in retaliation for Kennedy's efforts to crack down on organized crime, which could be, or part of a broader conspiracy involving political figures and criminal elements. Proponents of this theory point to Oswald's connections to figures with Mafia ties and alleged meetings between Mafia members, anti-Castro Cuban exiles prior to the assassination, and also he could have been banging their wives. The government killed him. See, now, back then that was a far-fetched thought, but now we kind of know our government will kill everybody. They will kill everybody. So could the government have killed him? Was the CIA involved? Conspiracy theories allege that CIA was involved in Kennedy's assassination, either as part of a plot to remove him. I don't know if they didn't like him. They don't like Catholics. I don't know what it is. Or to cover up some other covert operations that, we all think sometimes the president's the highest, but there's so many people above the president. Some theorists point to Oswald's connection to individuals with CIA ties or allege that the CIA was aware of Oswald's activities, but they failed to prevent the assassination. And the Oswald documents, all the documents talking about Oswald and his life and everything, they were all destroyed, which was suspicious-wishy. Another theory, foreign involvement. Some theories say that maybe foreign governments or intelligence agencies such as the Soviet Union or Cuba, maybe they wanted to kill Kennedy because, they hate America. They want to just kill our president. It's part of a plot to destabilize the United States or advance their own interests. They also, these theories are all about like geographical tensions, Kennedy's foreign policies decisions. Or another theory, could JFK have playboyed too far? As Venetia would call JFK, a fuckboy. He was known to be a party boy and sleep with a lot of women outside of his marriage. That's not good. Don't do that. Did he mess around with a Mafia guy's wife, Lyndon B. Johnson's wife, his vice president, Castro's baby mama? What happened? There's speculation. It's pos. I don't know that we'll ever find out for sure. Here's the thing. My boy Pudge Fernandez, diehard Mets fan, here's what he knows everything about the Mets and everything about JFK. Let's see what he's got to say.
First of all, shout out and thank you to Distefano for having me here. We go way back. We're both comedians. And as much as we love comedy and we're both from Queens, we're both from the boroughs, I had no idea that he was a historic buff like me and a JFK enthusiast. I've been following this assassination since the 7th grade. It's nuts. And to put it all in a nutshell, yes, it's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.
Listen, it's Chrissy Z Biotics here to tell you that your first drink of the night for a better tomorrow has to be Z Biotics. They are the maker of the world's first genetically engineered probiotic, baby. Here it is. Step 1, have a Z Biotics. For best results, make Z Biotics your first drink of the night, like I said. Step 2, drink responsibly. Pace yourself, hydrate, and get a good night's sleep. Step 3, enjoy tomorrow. Wake up feeling refreshed and ready to take on the day with Z Biotics. Every time I have a Z Biotics before I drink, I notice a difference the next day. I really do. I'm up and at 'em, baby. Because the Z Biotics just works with your gut and it doesn't, because the thing is this was, what are you looking at? Sorry, Jazz is off here grilling me. What's your issue? I'm talking to you about Z Biotics, the pre-alcohol probiotic drink. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. And you're looking at me and you're like, what? Like that's not the best thing you've ever heard of in your life? It is. It was invented by PhD scientists. So there you go. Give Z Biotics a try. Before, hey, maybe it's your wedding. Have some Z Biotics. Go to zbiotics.com/Christories to get 15% off your first order when you use Christories at checkout. Z Biotics is backed with 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com Christories and use code Christories at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, Z-Biotics, for sponsoring this episode and our good time.
It's nuts. It's overly nuts. It's too much. But I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give you my 2 cents, and I'm going to tell you why I think what I think. And this is what I think. Lee Harvey did not take the shot because of his military training. He was a United States Marine. And because of his training, I'm telling you, he didn't take the shot. How do I know? Because of my military training, okay? United States Army, 8 years in the infantry. Lee Harvey Oswald, the lone nut, United States Marine. Let me tell you something. Okay, I was in the Army. He was in the Marines. Once you're in the military and you do time and service, when you go in, you don't know shit. But when you come out, you know a lot more. All the military people go through shooting, but nobody shoots like the Marines. Their shooting is more extensive. They shoot from longer distances, okay? They are generally better shots, better trained at shooting. Why? Because they're such a small branch. They all have to be combat ready. They all trained to be combat ready. So Lee Harvey got a lot of this training. Okay, he knows how to kill. He knows how to hit the target. He can shoot from a long distance. He knows the job. So did he take the shot? Absolutely not. Sloppy. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. First of all, if you know the area of Dealey Plaza, where did he take? He took the shot from behind. He took the shot from behind. Okay, a lot of people don't know this. And I went to the school book depository. Okay, the JFK's car, there was an easier shot. There was an easier shot from the front coming up Houston. From his window, yes, there was Dealey Plaza. There was the shot from behind, but to his left was an easier shot from the front. Why did he not take this shot? A moron, an imbecile, a civilian, somebody not trained. Yeah, they don't know what they're doing. He is trained. It's a beautiful shot. It's a kill shot. One shot. Dead center, like he's trained, like I'm trained. So why didn't he take it? Would he get a brain fart? Did he forget his training? Okay, what is it, 2024? I got out in 2001. I still remember my training. This shit is drilled into us, okay? I haven't shot a rifle in like 20 years. You give me one right now, I'm gonna hit the fucking target. Oh, and let's not forget, the rifle, that Mannlicher can of beans cannot fucking shoot shit. That was a piece. Listen, part of our training is having the right equipment. We are only as good as our equipment and what we're trained to do with it. That was a piece of shit rifle. I went to the school book depository. I saw the rifle. That's a piece of shit. Okay? That is crap. That fucking scope, that little, I can't believe, no fucking way. No way, all right? Oswald was known to be a bad shot. He was a bad shot. Let me tell you something. If you're a bad shot, you know you're a bad shot. I shot for shit when I'm from New York. I never shot anything in my life. I go there. I didn't qualify right away. I sucked for a long time. I became an expert, but I sucked for a long time. It took me a while to become a marksman, then work my way up the chain. It took me a while. It was a beautiful shot. Stevie Wonder could have taken that shot. Come on. It's too nice. Oswald didn't take the shot. No way. Oh, who killed him?
Who actually killed him and why?
That's easy. You want to know who killed him, you got to find out who hated him.
Right.
Okay? Now, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever hated somebody? Sure. Have you ever wanted to slap somebody? You ever want to hit somebody? Why? Because that person did something to you. That person said something about you or about your family, okay? You have to have hate to bring that out. So, like I said, what did Lee Harvey have to hate? I don't see it. Now, let's look at who did hate him. Let's start from the top. Let's see. CIA. They fucking hated him because they wanted to kick Castro out. They wanted to invade Cuba, and Kennedy didn't allow it. They had the Bay of Pigs thing all set up, all planned. Kennedy got into office. He said, nah, I'm not going to support it. He half-asses it. What happens? It backfires, and the invasion went to shit. Okay, the CIA wanted Castro out. JFK did not support him. They fucking hated him. Oh, FYI, JFK made a comment about blowing up the CIA and just smashing it to bits and pieces because he didn't like the way they were doing business. Who else hated him? The FBI. No, yeah, J. Edgar.
Well, J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the CIA. Or
FBI. Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover. He hated the Kennedys. He hated Bobby. He hated Jack. But there was something going on. It's a little bit deeper. I don't want to go off the end, but Bobby, when he became JFK put him, what's the fucking his position?
His brother, Robert.
Yeah, Bobby Kennedy.
I don't know what his position was, but he gave him something.
Jesus.
Take a guess. It's Christories.
Attorney General. So when JFK made Bobby Attorney General, Bobby went after the Mafia. J. Edgar Hoover never went after the Mafia. Why? Because J. Edgar Hoover wore a dress. The mob had fucking pictures on him. So they kept it, hey, you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you. But Bobby went in hard, and that's messing up Hoover's game. Hoover doesn't want the Mafia touched because the Mafia's got shit on them. So there's a lot of heat on each other, okay? The FBI did not like Kennedy or Bobby. And let's not forget the Mafia. That's the last one. They're all in the same bed together. The Mafia had money and casinos in Cuba until Castro kicked them out. And they were in bed with the CIA because they both wanted the same thing. The CIA didn't want communism. The Mafia wanted their casinos and their money. They all hated JFK together. So let's look at who fucking hated him. If I had to guess who killed him and why, it's simple. It goes back to that old saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. The CIA and the mob had a common enemy. It was JFK, okay? The Mafia did the hit. The CIA helped cover it up. The FBI, they did whatever they did. But they all were in agreement that he had to go in order to get things running the way they wanted to.
So then Harvey Oswald was picked by the CIA.
He was a patsy. Exactly.
He wasn't even there with the gun, you don't think?
He was in a building. I mean, I think that's like 100% confirmed. He was in a building. He did work there. But then there's all these stories where he was in the top floor. He was in the lunch break room. He was upstairs. He was downstairs. I mean, that's a whole other fucking thing. But
we'll never know who took the actual shot.
No, No, the shooters are probably dead. Who knows? The shooters probably came in from another country. The mob took care of that. They're known for hits. They're known for hits. Who hit Oswald? Jack Ruby. Who's Jack Ruby? He's with the mob. So that they took care of the hit. CIA cleaned it up. FBI helped. It's so deep.
So in closing, number one, convertible sales definitely went down after the shooting. I still to this day don't see many convertibles. JFK is the fourth and last, thank God, president to be assassinated. The other three, William McKinley, James Garfield, and Abraham Lincoln. The most controversial assassination in history. Still to this day, people don't know. And also shout out the Warren Commission. You were definitely wrong. Keep asking questions, babes, but not to the mob. Keep your mouth shut. What are your personal faves for the conspiracy theories of JFK? Comment below and let us know. And remember, yesterday was history.